Welcome to the Veterans Corner, and thank you for inviting us into your home today. I'm Greg Gagne, a veteran advocate. The Veterans Corner primary mission is to help veterans with employment, and the secondary mission is in meeting their needs by bringing employers, nonprofit agencies, and veterans together. We do this by interviewing employers, nonprofit agencies here on the Veterans Corner. So if you are a veteran or know of a veteran that needs assistance, give me a call at 315-3259. If you are an employer or a nonprofit organization who wish to participate on the show, just give me a call at 315-3259 as well. This is a free service. Let's make a difference this year for our veteran heroes. For our guest today, we have Mr. Jimmy Williams, and he's the assistant manager, service manager rather, and he's here today to share with us information about a certain topic. I'm not too sure what it's going to talk about, but I mean, he's going to make sure that we understand. So, Jimmy, my friend, thank you for coming on board.
Yeah.
Honored to have you.
Yes, happy to be back with you. I think we've done a couple of these. And just to recap, kind of the things that we've talked about last time. We've covered standardized claim forms for veterans to file claims, various types of claims or benefits that they might be entitled to. Kind of talked a little bit about what we do at the regional office, but I wanted to get a little more in depth and talk a little bit about the 5 different claim types that veterans can file. And also kind of like a little bit of the lingo that some of our service organizations as well as our regional office personnel use in claims processing. So the first one I want to talk about is an original compensation claim. So veterans only have one original compensation claim. So an original compensation claim is the very first claim a veteran compensation claim a veteran files with VA. So you can only have one because you can only file for the first time. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, you're right.
So after that, we then have new claims. So new claims are claims that have never been decided before. They've never been denied. They've never been granted. But it also means you had previously filed a claim because otherwise it would be an original claim. So original claims, first claim, new claim is a claim for benefits on issues you had never claimed before. Another one we have is a claim for increase. Now, claims for increase are claims on specific disabilities or issues in which a veteran's already service connected. Now, we talked a little bit about how you file claims. And as a reminder, you file those on the 526, but preferably the 21-526EZ. But with claims for increase, I just wanted to educate some folks on probably the best way to go about filing a claim for increase. When you're filing a claim for increase, you're asserting that your disability has increased in severity and therefore should be awarded more compensation. So I would encourage a veteran who's filing a claim for increase of their already service-connected disability. They don't have to do this, but I would encourage them to submit private medical evidence that would show a worsening of that condition. That assists VBA personnel when reviewing the claim file and trying to determine if, in fact, the disability had increased in severity. And also assists with medical professionals to kind of see what kind of treatment had been done, and in fact, this veteran's been seen multiple times for their migraine issues, etc. And that influences the way, I don't say influences, but it provides evidence to show that it provides evidence that might fit into what we call our rating schedule, which dictates the amount, the facts of it, and dictates the evaluation that we can assign for a veteran. So that's claim for increase. Next, we have reopen claims and claims for reconsideration. Those are the last two. So a reopen claim is a claim for a disability that had previously been denied and the appeal period has expired, meaning it's been denied and they've been notified of the denial and 1 year has passed. With a claim for reopen, veterans are required to submit what we call new and material evidence. Now, this is a very complex topic. It's very technical in terms of understanding new material, but the bottom line is it's evidence that isn't necessarily new, but it's evidence that relates to a material fact that wasn't there. So we talked earlier about the 3 principles of service connection: event and service, current disability, and medical nexus. And if you're just joining in, I would encourage you to go see the first show where we talk about this in a little more detail. But let's say, for example, a veteran had a current disability and they didn't have, they had a current disability, they sought treatment in service, so current knee condition, sprained the knee in service, but there's no link. There's no physician that indicated that it was linked to service, and there's no medical record showing continued treatment.
Right.
The veteran submits evidence that shows continued treatment. That's new and material.
Okay.
That is related to an unestablished fact, bottom line. So that would be a reopened claim. And then there's a request for reconsideration. And it's similar to reopen. The only difference between the two is that a request for reconsideration is basically a request to review a denied issue, but the appeal period hasn't expired, meaning you had been notified that we had denied the issue, but you request us to reconsider it within a year of the appeal period.
Right.
Yes, sir. So those are the 5 different claim types, and just wanted to share that with you.
Things like this that veterans need to be aware of, because a lot of times they walk into the office and really are ignorant to the fact that how things are done.
Right.
And I'm sorry to say that I'm college educated, right?
Right.
And I feel like an idiot with some of these claims.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's
We're not by
challenging.
itself. There is a challenge.
Yes.
And I think this is coming up to our first segment. So we'll be back in a minute or two. We're back with Jimmy. So Jimmy, pick up where you left off, my man.
You bet, man. Well, I think we were just wrapping up talking about the 5 different claim types that veterans can file for: original claims, new claims, claims for increase, reopened claims, and requests for reconsideration. And generally, folks, absent the claim for increase, folks are trying to get service connected.
Right.
That's why they're filing a claim. They want their benefits that they feel they're entitled to. But what I wanted to go over, and we've gone over the principles of service connection. We've talked about how you can get service connected. But I also wanted to talk about what VA service connects.
Okay.
And bottom line is VA service connects chronic disabilities.
Chronic disability.
Chronic disabilities, that's correct. Diseases are chronic in nature.
Yes, yes.
There are conditions that are what we call acute and transitory, meaning an injury might be acute and transitory. I mean, this past weekend I actually sprained my ankle, but I'm fine. There's no disability from it right now.
Right.
It resolved.
Right.
Now, not to say that something may happen later, but it's resolved from a medical standpoint. So what I wanted to do is actually brought a list of, and there was just a lot of them, of common things that I've seen throughout my claims processing career, as well as my peers, of conditions that we often see claimed, but because the very nature of them, we are unable to service connect because they're either a lab finding, a symptom, or by nature acute and transitory. So, this often isn't published, but if you wouldn't mind, I would want to just kind of read through some of these items,
go ahead.
and that way you guys are armed with that information. Should you want to claim them, you know that it isn't eligible.
And you know what? If you ask a question, I'm going to say it's on him, okay?
That's right.
All right. Go ahead,
So
Jimmy.
residuals from elective surgeries are not eligible for service connection. So a vasectomy that you had in service is not,
All
you
right.
cannot receive service. Yeah.
Okay.
For example, tubal ligation. Another one I want to talk about that we see a lot are refractive errors, myopia, basically blurred vision. Those are what we call congenital defects.
Okay.
So it isn't something that would happen or occur in service. So those are not eligible for service connection. One we see quite often is a high cholesterol. Claims.
Go along with that.
Yep, yep. Hyperlipidemia is the way it's referred to, and that's bottom line what it is. And for VA purposes, that is simply a lab finding that would not be eligible for service connection.
Okay.
Elevated triglycerides, similar to high cholesterol, is a lab finding and not a chronic disability. Another one, premature ventricular contractions. Uncomplicated pregnancies that occur in uncomplicated pregnancies. So a pregnancy, you believe it or not, we will receive claims for just the pregnancy, childbirth, and those are not eligible for service connection. Complications from childbirth that leave residual disability,
Then
right,
that would
right. Then there may be
they
a
can follow
case.
through with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Another very common one we receive is obesity. Obesity is not a disability. It is a symptom. It could be a symptom of a disability,
Right.
which would be used to evaluate the underlying condition. Obesity in and of itself is not eligible for service.
Just for example, we've had a friend where I guess you could say they became obese, and because of a thyroid gland.
Right.
Had no control over nothing. They just got big.
Exactly. Now, that is an excellent distinction to make, because if you were service connected for that thyroid issue and as a result gained weight and it caused knee conditions to go, all of those secondary conditions can be service connected.
Okay.
And I want to elaborate a little bit on that, because I didn't talk about secondary
Yeah.
service connection in our first part series, but I think this is a great transition for that. So if you have a veteran that has a thyroid problem and basically becomes overweight or other things happen and complications occur, and as a result it forces them to walk with a limp.
Right.
And then because of that limp they develop a knee injury. Well, that knee injury that wasn't there before, or that knee condition that wasn't there before, is a direct result of their service-connected thyroid condition. So they would then be eligible for service connection of not only the thyroid condition, but also the knee, because it was attributed to the primary service, and that's what we call secondary service connection. Now, I went on a little tangent there, but I think when we're talking about secondary service connection, I think it kind of bridges into the next part I want to bring up, and it's a very important one. I think a lot of veterans out there think that alcohol and drug abuse are not eligible for service connection, and I can tell you, on its face, it's not. However, veterans who suffer from mental conditions and resort to alcohol and drug abuse, those complications, if they're attributed to the mental disorder, can be used as part of the evaluation.
So in other words, something like PTSD.
Exactly.
Okay.
So veterans out there that may or may not have been treated or seen for PTSD and suffer from drug or alcohol abuse, I would urge you to go to your local VAMC and be seen.
Okay. Well, I think this is about coming up to our end of this segment, and we'll be back.
He crowned after. He told me he would.
back, and let's see what Jimmy has to tell us on this last segment. So, my friend, I'm saying, raise your hand again. Thank you. You know,
it's been great.
Let's finish this right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak to your viewers and to our veterans. I think I just concluded the last segment kind of going over claims that veterans wouldn't be eligible for service connection for because they are by nature either acute and transitory or congenital defects or just simply lab findings. Now I kind of wanted to pivot and talk a little bit about some of the avenues veterans have to file claims. I talked a little bit about veteran service organizations, which I highly encourage veterans to seek out veteran service organizations before getting into the VA system. But I also wanted to talk about what we offer, and that's e-benefits.
Right.
Yeah. For veterans out there who aren't familiar with e-benefits, it's a simple Google search. If you put in e-benefits, it'll come right up. It'll be the first thing that pops up.
Right.
But if you want to go straight to the site, it's ebenefits.va.gov, and it's just a fantastic service. I would encourage veterans, if you haven't already, to sign up for what we call a premium account. It's free of charge, and it gives you a lot of different services. I kind of just wanted to check off some of the features here.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can apply for your benefits online. You can check your post 9/11 GI Bill enrollment status. You can view your DoD TRICARE health insurance. You can sign up for group life insurance, any benefits. It's great. You can check on the status of your claim. If you have an appeal pending, you can check on the status of that appeal. And you know, family members of veterans or service members can go on and check information and statuses. And that's just a few highlights among other things. But I bring e-benefits up not only because it's just a fantastic tool and it's one that we encourage all veterans to get in, but also what's kind of built in there is what we call kind of like a rules-based system for folks that might file their dependency claims.
Okay.
So if a veteran service connected at say 40% or 30% or more, and they want to add a dependent to their award, they can simply just go into e-benefits and file their dependency claim on there by submitting a 21-686C. All that stuff's electronic in there. File that claim, and it can run through a rules-based processing system that will automatically add the veteran's dependents to the award and adjust it right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, for e-benefits, if the veteran has available benefits, he could pass his benefits, especially for college, to his children.
Yeah, you can check on all that.
Now, if the veteran comes to a divorce and that wife marries another man, then she's not eligible for any type of.
No, all that. If you communicate all that information and get that of record and update it, and you can file all that, submit all that evidence through e-benefits.
Yeah, I'm
and
saying
get all
that
yeah.
person who married another individual no longer is eligible to receive any type of benefits from that surviving veteran.
Right.
Or
that's a great point.
That's one thing I really wanted to bring up.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, back. So that's one of the benefits of e-benefits. Not only do you have transparency and electronic environment to your claim, the status of it, where it's at, you also have the ability to look into other benefits you might be entitled to, and you can also go ahead and submit your claims there. And more importantly, I wouldn't say more importantly, but another positive there is you can add dependents to your award in real time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about as quick a service as you can get, I'd say.
Okay, so even if a veteran would marry marry his lady friend or wife or whatever.
Sure.
And she has a child.
Right.
Is that child falls underneath the benefits? Unless he adopts her. If he adopts her, she becomes part of that benefit, right? But if he doesn't adopt her,
he needs to submit it would depend. I don't want to get too in the weeds on that.
I'm just bringing something up.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you what, if not, what'll happen is no matter what, we communicate what evidence and what else is necessary to move to the next.
Okay.
So if we're missing a birth certificate, we will get with you to get that birth certificate so that we can add. It won't be just a denial and then we're going to say, well, it's denied because we need a birth certificate.
But I really do thank Jimmy for coming on and making this possible. And I'm sure that if you have questions that you will contact me more than likely, and I will make sure we'll get the answers for you. So have a good day. Goodbye. Thank you for inviting us into your home today. Please spread the word around about the Veterans Corner Show. I'm Greg Gagne. Call me at 315-3259. Thank you, and God bless America.